So excited, I really can't wait. I actually saw a couple of friends that have seen it in the last couple of days, and yeah, the reviews have been a complete success, so I'm really excited, especially supporting my fellow cast members in the show as well, so yeah, I'm really excited.
I don't know much about it, but I know our marvellous friend Luke Thompson is in it, so we're here to support him, yeah.
I am going to be 100% truthful right now. I have zero expectations. I don't know much about the book or what's going on. I know apparently it's really sad. So I'm going in blank and I'm just going to enjoy the art.
I've read a bit of it. I couldn't get through it. I know it's going to be a harrowing evening, but also an incredible piece of theatre. Ivo van Hove is kind of a genius. I've worked with him before on a project and I had the best time. The cast is amazing. One of my dear friends, Omari, who I was in Constellations with recently, I can't wait to see him, and Nathalie, and I'm really excited about it.
I have read the book. Yes, I know it well. Yeah. I'm very excited but a little bit scared for how intense it's going to be. So, yeah, should be good.
I have read the book. I read the book about 4 years ago. I remember, I think, key aspects of it, but I'm looking forward to seeing the performance tonight. It's nice to be back here because I was doing the Seagull at the Pinter about 4 or 5 months ago, so yeah, I'm really excited to see it.
Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing how he uses the space, what he does with the book. My wife loves the book. She's told me a lot about it, so I think it's just going to be a real old-fashioned, fantastic night in the theatre.
I want to tell stories that I think are urgent, and when I read the book, which I read against all odds, because I thought, well, it's just a coming-of-age story of 4 guys, in New York. One wanted to be an architect, the other one an actor, and all, so it, been there, not so interesting. But when I read it, after 80 pages, it became like a bomb that exploded. And I never read something like this, talking about trauma and about that the trauma can cause, that the trauma is like a death penalty almost.
It's been a journey of discovery for me. I think we've had many doors opened personally by the process. It's been a sort of challenging one that we were, I think, all intimidated by when we started. And you look to your director to have this sort of authority and guidance and leadership to hold their nerve and keep to their vision and not succumb to, the sort of anticipated pressure of the book and of an audience's expectation. And I found him a great shield in that respect and a great, inspiration really. So it's been a wonderful experience.
And also he has these, it's like the holy grail of directors. He has these incredible magic powers of doing exactly what he wants you to do and making you feel like you thought of it. What better is there? You begin this process incredibly shy. There's this assumption that everybody is sort of gung-ho and willing to sort of bear all and really, but you start shy. We're just people, and you begin shy, and then what you discover is that everybody is there to support each other, and it's just the loveliest feeling. It really is.
There was no other choice in this process other than to just do it, because that is Ivo's approach. He just wants you to dive in and find it, and there is something incredibly frightening about that, but also incredibly liberating at the same time. It's been such a fascinating, incredible process to me, really challenging and just really, it just pushes you and it kind of forces you into a realm that you wouldn't necessarily think you'd be able to find in another kind of rehearsal process. But from the beginning, we didn't even really get to spend any time with each other. Before we started rehearsals, we did a press day, we did a photo shoot day. But I adore the boys. The whole company is wonderful. But it's a gift. When you get to be working on a floor with people, it's generosity. I think, generosity and just good spirit, and everyone is just so giving, and so you're feeding off of that, and then hopefully that's what creates a chemistry and a bond.
When I got cast in the part, I hadn't read the book, and I was in the middle of doing another play in the West End, so I read the book over Christmas while doing that,
which was devastating and brilliant and extraordinary. And but just from the action I got from people once I said I was going to be doing it was incredible, and I knew I wanted to do it. And then reading the book and then meeting Hanya, the novelist as well, who's been very supportive and talking to us a lot about character and everything, was incredible. And then it's just built from there and grown and grown and grown, and it's become more of a thing. And and the reaction we're getting online and from fans in face to face after the previews and tonight, just extraordinary. You forget because you get so involved in the process of doing the thing, and you suddenly go, oh, that's what they're seeing. They're seeing the whole thing, which is, is extraordinary.
The first time we run it in the rehearsal room, we all felt it, and we all sort of felt really, sad and stuff. But now we're just inflicting it on other people. So we're actually, it's actually now much more pleasurable because we know what it is. But I think when you encounter it for the first time, as everyone else is in the room, in the audience, it's a lot. But I think as a result, I think it's probably easier than it looks now. It was a very uncerebral process. Like, we didn't do a lot of talking, discussing, or building or anything like that. We just did the scenes again and again and again, and you sort of let each other in.
In the rehearsal room, yes, you had the tables and you had the desks and you had all our wonderful family of creatives there to talk to, and they did a great thing as well, which was that when we did the first dress run-through in Richmond, Emily Vaughan Barrett, the producer and sister, who asked us all how we'd feel, and we were all very positive to get an audience on stage so that we could feel what that's like. But again, it completes it because you can't. It's set up as storytelling. James and I talked quite often during rehearsals that, in a sense, even his character as well comes out and talks to you directly about his own experience. So we are fully aware as players, as ghosts, that we are telling a story. So you need the audience. And then what's brilliant, from what I've heard from the people that I know who've been to see it, is that they are so engrossed and they are so immersed in these people's lives. I've talked to friends afterwards who are screaming at me, but why didn't Willem do this? Why didn't Emilio, such? And they're talking with the characters' names because they feel that they've had a communal experience of these people.
It's a very kind of powerful relationship we have with the audience, particularly on stage. Ivo and Jan force the audience to be complicit. They are not just voyeurs; they are in that room and feeling their reaction, the gasps and the crying and the laughs. They feel like they're in that fairy tale with us, and it means a lot.
It's 3.5 hours long, and to captivate an audience's attention for that amount of time, you really need to be doing your job well. And we have such an amazing cast that I think that was an easy thing to do. But still, we're working things out, and it's so amazing to be at the Pinter now.
They did it in Holland first, in a different version because this is much shorter. It's 25 minutes shorter, but it's the language in Dutch. It's also the Dutch is very practical, and American English is also very practical. It's very pragmatic, and also the way that Hanya Yanagihara writes, it's not very poetic. It's really, she is very down to earth. And so for me, the language, when I heard it in English for the first time, American English for the first time, was not so different. And of course, I've directed a lot in America, so I'm used to American English also.
I've really missed doing theatre, so it's nice to come back to it. And I feel like I've actually learned loads from doing screen for a bit, actually. So to come to that, and also, in a strange kind of way, obviously they're very, very different things, but Bridgerton and A Little Life, but actually, they're based on books that people feel extremely passionate about, and I'm very lucky in my career that I've been able to work on things that people already feel so much for, which is, rather than like having to do a lot of the work to try and make people interested.
I think I've been thinking about this moment for many, many months. I haven't had a drink yet, and I'm very excited to have one. This job came along, I think, last year in October, November time. The conversation started, and I've been thinking about this moment when we open and we share it with the world, and the pressure I felt, the responsibility taking on Jude and this book, and this role which is so beloved and important to so many people, and to have had the response we've had from the audience tonight and every audience we had in the previews, genuinely never had. And I've never had an audience or a reaction come close to what we have on the show generally. Every night we have this incredible moment of appreciation and And you know, it does cost us a lot. It takes a lot out of you physically and emotionally. But to then you know, have a conversation afterwards with the audience, appreciate them coming on that journey with us. It's just magical.